Hey, Queen, so have you ever dated a guy that gave you too much trouble, too much work? He had issues. He was just a man child in one way or another. Something that you had to fix, something that you had to kind of like have a lot of patience for, or this or this or that. Well, if that's ever been you, today we're talking about how to avoid a man child. And there's two ways or two reasons. Look, there's two ways, two reasons why this happens and how to avoid that. So, the first way that this happens is when you are a fixer, when you like helping people. Okay? So, we've we've talked about this before, but I guess this one's a bit of a different angle. So, I have I had a client that was dating a guy who was being kind of distant, kind of what they call avoidant. But the truth is, men are not avoidant. That's bullshit. But anyway, so one of her friends told her, "Oh, it's just that he never learned how to love. He had a difficult childhood and he he just doesn't know how to love." And this client came to me and she's like, "This is what my friend says, that he just doesn't know how to love." And I'm like, "And who are you? The teacher of men? The savior of men?" Long story short, obviously this guy was not into her. He was just having sex with her. And he was starting to fade out, as it turns out that they all do. Right? So no, they're not avoidant. So obviously she was only dating one person, which I 100% advise against. So another scenario, I'll think about another scenario, but what I want to say is what happens here is that you feel like you are there. Oh yeah, here's the other example I was thinking of. So I had this other client that she was like, "Well, this guy, I know he's in a pretty bad marriage. I know that he doesn't really love his wife and stuff." Okay. She's like, "I know they have a really bad sex life." And I'm like, "Who are you, the savior of men in bad marriages? Like, what's going on there? Really and truly." Right? So, if you ever found yourself being too patient, trying to make it work, you wanted to fix this man in some shape, way, or form. So, a man child is typically the one that needs help, that needs fixing, that needs teaching. Kind of like maybe he's too stingy. Maybe he's broke. Maybe he needs better manners. Maybe this or that. It's a man that is not, a lot of times he's just not that into you because he might be like that with you, but with someone else, he's a charm. But in other scenarios, they are the same with every woman. So the first guy that I talked about, the one with my client, he was like that with every single woman, right? He dated just women that that, the women that allow to be used and all that stuff. So naturally, he'd be like that with everyone. So when you are in that state of mind, in that energy of wanting to fix people, wanting to help people, a lot of times this is disguised as you wanting to help. This is you and your masculine energy. And masculine energy, when it comes to dealing with men, you want to minimize that. I'm not saying it should be totally gone. I'm just saying that you want to primarily be in your feminine energy. It should be gone where you want to help the men, not the masculine energy itself, all of it. But fixing, helping is not for the man arena. So that's number one. The number two is when you yourself are a woman child. You yourself are a wreck, or you yourself are not a grown woman. You're not really a grown woman if you don't know how to take care of yourself, if you don't know how to be alone, if your financial aspect or life is a wreck, you're always broke, you struggle with money, you have bad credit, things like that make you a red flag for a high quality man. And you are a woman child. I'm sorry. This is not to be a bitch or to shame you or anything like that. It's like the purpose of this whole stuff is to evoke introspection and see where change needs to happen. Because for you to obtain the result you want, women typically want a Prince Charming, a masculine man that takes care of them and is amazing to them, treats them awesome. But if you yourself need a lot of inner work, need to put your life together, need to grow up. So for example, say you have a spending problem. Well, you need to grow up. Kind of like you're financially reckless. You need to grow up. You need to become responsible. You need to become I wouldn't say a financial expert, but financially savvy enough to have your life together, to be a grown woman instead of a woman child. So think about the teenager that first got a credit card and nobody showed her how to be financially literate. She goes into debt and wrecks her credit. Okay, I understand if you're a teenager and you did that. But if you're past freaking 20, like, girl, you need to grow up. And this is why you're bumping into men that are problematic. Like, maybe they have a drinking problem. Maybe they have like all these mental issues. Maybe they're broke, or they are chaotic in any way, shape, or form. Kind of like never want to settle down, never want to have a family, kids. They are a man child that is attracted by a woman child. Ever heard like attracts like? It stems from vibration. It stems from you being at a certain frequency, so he's your energetic match. If you are those things, it's very hard to attract a high quality man if you yourself need a lot of work on that end yourself. If you are chaotic yourself, you're going to attract someone chaotic in one way or another. Okay? So this is not to be a bitch or shame or this or that. This is to evoke thought, introspection, and trigger your inner work. Yeah, like for you to like think, well, yeah, maybe I need to get myself together, improve, level up. Level up is not getting extensions. Getting up is not getting a boob job. Leveling up is not losing weight. Like, sure, those things can be part of that. But if you're not leveled up in an energetic way, in a spiritual way, in just common sense, like everyday life way, like knowing when to pay your bills, knowing how to save money, knowing what is overspending and what's not overspending, just basic things, knowing when and how to clean your house. Like if your house is a wreck, like these kinds of things, like, like I'm not telling you to be perfect, but I'm telling you that don't be surprised if you're not attracting quality men, high quality men. You need to take a hard look at yourself and run inventory of all the things you are. Because I often hear women like bitching about the men they find, the men they attract, the men they date. Well, it just so happens that they themselves, they need a lot of leveling up. And this is exactly part of what we do in my practice, one-on-one mentorship and coaching. Help you identify what are the areas that you need to level up. Because a lot of times there's blind spots. You don't know that this aspect about yourself is screaming low vibe. I mean, you know, like not low vibe. You know what I'm trying to say, that this part about yourself it's a opportunity for growth, if you want to call it that. If we want to be more politically correct. We've all had to do it. We've all have to, be there. Right? So if you want to attract a fully grown man, you best be sure that you are a fully grown woman yourself. Okay? So anyway, I hope this video evokes thought, makes you stop and think rather than just be triggered or anything like that, but that it helps you level up. Alrighty? Because, for example, if you're financially a wreck, you're just kind of looking ratchet to a high quality man. So you don't want any of those things. You want to be a girl that is put together and grown up. So that's kind of the daily sermonette. And let me know in the comments if you find this triggering. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. So I'll see you on the next. Bye now.